Asteroids in Space Engineers are static and boring. Now, the closest we have to moving asteroids in Space Engineers are these meteorites, and these meteorites are really just for players who want to punish themselves. They want to make their outer space experience a little bit more difficult. And yes, it does make it difficult, but it does make it extremely annoying as well when these asteroids come in to hit. But no, that's not the solution we're looking for. We need something bigger. Just a quick note though for people who do want to spawn these meteorites in, they do not spawn instantly, and even on Armageddon mode at the moment, they're not as intense as they used to be. They also don't have the fire trail like they used to in the older patch, so they're hard to spot. So if you do turn this feature on and you're reporting it not working, it does work, it just takes some time to kick in. It actually surprised me the first time it happened because I was just sitting there waiting and next minute they came out of nowhere. Now this looks bigger, but this isn't an asteroid either. This is just a giant ball of ore that we've connected and then popped out of a container. Yes, we can get these quite big, and in the past people used to make cool missiles out of these because they had a great damage potential, but now they've changed that completely so they don't do much damage at all, and that's to prevent them clanging out when their cargo in a ship pops, for instance. Still a cool idea, we can move it around, but it's not the asteroid that we're looking for. Now this leaves us with a final option to do our testing, and it means we're going to have to use blocks to build a giant asteroid, but conveniently there was already one on the workshop that was shaped just like a giant asteroid. I'll leave a link into the description if you want to check it out for yourself. I quickly equipped this with thrusters, I placed a load out in the environment, and here we have it, our moving asteroids. So let's conduct some testing and see what it would be like to play with these. Now the first little concept that comes to mind with moving asteroids would be what happened if they collided with the biggest thing that's planets. Well, let's have a go. We've got the re-entry mod on, so I'm expecting some sort of burn up. So as the asteroid enters, it doesn't burn up, it doesn't explode, and it has a very unsatisfying impact. Space engineers. Maybe we can make this a little bit better with the nuclear explosion when it lands. There we go. There we go. That's what I'd expect. And I think from a realistic gameplay point of view, if they collided with a planet, the two cool things to happen would either be it incinerates itself on re-entry, or it leaves a giant crater with valuable resources, just the small meteorites on a bigger level, to say, to a degree. It could be quite fun trying to chase down an asteroid that you know that's going to collide, and then intercepting the ore that it lands on a planet. Plus, if you're on a planet and you can't make it up to space, the ore coming to you could also be quite handy. So enough with the explosions. I clearly really like the nuclear weapons mod. We are inside an asteroid field now, and the first thing that you notice is the point of reference is constantly shifting. So previously in Space Engineers, with the asteroids being static, we would focus on one and travel to it. It would be a point of reference in our movement. But with them all moving around like this, we have to navigate differently. It's actually quite cool though. I like the idea, and I also feel like I'm not very safe. An asteroid could just sneak up behind me and wreck my ship in one. Let's try to stay out of the collision course. You can see that this asteroid on the right looks like it's actually accelerating towards me. Let's see if we can avoid a narrow collision with it. I think we have to bring itself down like this. Be careful that there's no other asteroids. Yeah, it would lead to some really nice space navigation. Yeah, so we've managed to miss that asteroid, but in doing so, have we put ourselves on the collision course with anything else? Oh, look at that going past behind me. Yes, this is a Space Engineer's fantasy. So let's attempt to get as close as we can to one of these asteroids, just like we were going to try and mine it. So at the moment, it doesn't look like it's moving, but I think that is actually accelerating towards me. So let's use our auto dampeners. So yeah, if we used our auto dampeners, we could auto dampen it to the asteroids as they were moving. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Be careful there. Let's try auto dampening to that one instead. See what's going to happen, but we need to be careful here because we could still be squished, I think, between the asteroids themselves. Oh, these guys are going to collide. Oh no, oh no. Get out of here quick. Oh yeah, moving asteroids, we just had a whole new dynamic. Imagine mining one side and then another asteroid starts coming up on the other. Yeah, it creates some performance issues and definitely some more challenges for development, but perhaps maybe something for Space Engineers too. So I couldn't help myself. This has become less of a testing video and more than just a concept slash bit of a play video. We've got some more nuclear missiles and we're firing them at asteroids as we go around. And look at this spectacular carnage. Some are ripping holes in, some are creating all these beautiful fragments. Oh, this is lovely. I miss this sort of just basic gameplay in Space Engineers, where you just have a bit of an experiment and a bit of a play around, and you end up with some great results. I really recommend sometimes don't switch survival on, jump in creative, and just have a bit of a blast, play with the mechanics, understand how things work. You won't regret it, and you'll have some of the best moments in Space Engineers ever, especially showing the results to your friend. Now, getting back on track, the possibilities of moving asteroids are really cool, and they're that cool that I couldn't possibly think of all the things that it would do on my own. So let me know in the comment section of ideas that I've not thought of. What would asteroids affect within our normal gameplay experience? But the first thing I want to talk about is mining and how they would completely change it. Space is quite a static experience. You mark out your favourite asteroids at the moment, and then you repeatedly jump drive to them, pick up the resources and head home. But now the GPSs would be useless. The asteroids would be moving. You'd have to plant some sort of tracking beacon on your favourite asteroids. On top of this, if you decide to live in an asteroid, think of the carnage that could ensue there. It could move away from your favourite location, it could head off into a weird area of the solar system, or it could even collide with another asteroid or a planet. So that would be quite a spectacular survival experience out in space. Now, I'm sure it won't be long as well before people build big, powerful ships that can move these asteroids and almost move them to a location or stop them in the place so that they can be mined. Or on top of that, if people are able to then manipulate them with ships, it won't be long before they're weaponized and they're either thrown and launched at planets or thrown at players' ships and stations. That all would be super cool. Another factor we'd have to consider is what would happen if the asteroids collided. So asteroids travelling at high speed, when they do collide, that is quite interesting. They almost merge together, and instead of Space Engineers, that is extremely dangerous. But you can see how the asteroid, all the blocks here are pushing up against each other and creating these smaller fragments. And I think smaller fragments would be cool because as asteroids bang into each other, that's what creates these denser asteroid fields with these small little rocks that offer some difficulty when flying through. Something that might be a little bit too advanced for Space Engineers, but still it's a really cool idea. And you can see these little fragments that are flying off here, creating this debris field around these asteroids that have now almost merged into one large asteroid. Very cool indeed. So our next test is what would happen if a ship collided with these asteroids. Okay, so they're all clustered together. The red ship is going in. It's trying to stop. Ooh. A little bit of an explosion there. It's really not making much difference on this cluster. Let's try taking one of these asteroids out from this pack and put it over here. So here we go. Big asteroid going into the back of red ship. Oh, almost eaten. Let's have a look inside here. Oh, there's not much of that red ship left. Absolutely sandwiched. The debris field is insane. Look at that. That is so cool. Let's throw another asteroid into this mix. Little gaps opening and closing. The red ship has been eaten alive, been absolutely crushed. All the components are exploding. Debris is being emitted from the collision. Let's bring this to a conclusion right here. I don't think there's any further I can go with this concept. At the moment, planets are stationary, asteroids are stationary. It's not awful, and it's not the end of the world, and it does help with stability of the game. But if asteroids moved, it would just change the whole dynamic of space, that I personally feel is one of the quietest areas of Space Engineers, even though it's in the name Space Engineers. When there isn't dynamic encounters going on, space is a very, very quiet place, and when in reality there's dangers around every corner.